Elon Musk has said that it is, and I'm quoting what he stated, absurd to note that India does not have a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. Musk has in fact further called for the revision in the UN body and has stated that India not having a permanent seat on the Security Council despite being the most populous country on the earth is, quote, absurd, unquote. Now, earlier, of course, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has also stated that the UN Security Council is an old club where there are set members who don't want to let go of the grip. Meanwhile, joining us on the broadcast is my colleague Rushali Kadam. Rushali, over to you. What details can you give our viewers?
Well, Elon Musk has made a point where he said that it's a very absurd that India does not have a permanent UNSC seat, and he also mentioned that at some point of time there needs to be a of UN bodies. The problem is that those with the excess power don't want to give it up. And India not having a permanent seat in the Security Council, despite being the most populous country on the earth, is absurd. This is a word, expressed by the Elon Musk, where he also said that Africa collectively should also have a permanent seat as well. Certainly, he has made his point, and he has expressed that the way India is growing as being the most populous country on the earth, as Elon Musk has said that there is a need for the revision of the UN bodies, and there is a absolute need that India should have a permanent position.
All right, Rushali, I'd like to thank you. But also with us on the broadcast is Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, International Affairs expert. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for joining us on NewsX. A fresh statement coming in from Elon Musk at this point of time. He had on the very same platform that he owns, X, formerly known as Twitter, had in fact quote-tweeted Antonio Guterres, who was in fact speaking about increased representation for Africa. And replying to that, in concurrence with that, he had also added that India should as well be represented in the UNSC, in the decision-making body of the United Nations as well. What do you make of this statement?
Well, good afternoon, Pia, and good afternoon to all the viewers. I think Elon Musk is a visionary leader, businessman, entrepreneur, and he is a very important voice in the international community. And when Elon Musk is saying that it is absurd that India is not in the United Nations Permanent Security Council as a member, I think it says a lot, and that is what precisely is the need of the hour. In my assessment, if United Nations organization has to remain relevant in the global affairs, if it has to play its due role in the international community, then United Nations reforms are mandatory. Without United Nations reforms, I think the world international United Nations organizations is not going to be performing any better, and that is what has been exposed time and again. Whether it is current Ukrainian-Russian war or any other conflict, if you look at the United Nations organization's performance, it has been very poor. It has failed to perform its duties because of the certain limitations it has, and those limitations cannot be withered away without reforms. And whenever reforms takes place, India must have a place in the United Nations Security Council as a permanent member with veto power. And that is what India has been, putting across its views. Other nations are also, various nations, whether it is Japan or Germany or other developing nations, they are also putting forward these kind of views that reforms are mandatory. But unfortunately, because of the domination of the P5 countries and because of the not showing keen interest in reforming and maintaining this status quo and this organization with a format which is of 20th century, I think the reforms are not taking place. So I think in my assessment, if, as I said, United Nations organization, if it has to remain relevant in times ahead, then reforms are mandatory. And important voices like Elon Musk, when he is saying also and advocating for it, then I think the UN body must listen to it, and particularly those permanent 5 members must listen to it, and they must take initiative to bring about those reforms.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.